Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. We're back in my living room. I hope you guys all enjoyed yesterday's video as much as I enjoyed cleaning out the bathroom, because now every time I look and go in there, it's almost spotless and it makes me so happy. I finished the video yesterday and basically drugged my roommate into the bathroom. Was like, look at what I did! Because I was so proud of myself. Which probably sounds really sad, but adulting is hard. In today's video, we're just going to go back into talking about creepy children, because you guys seem to really like that. I am really excited to see what more we have in store. So, without further ado, here are 25 more creepy things that kids have said. On a flight with my son, the plane took off and hit a couple bumps. The passengers were being somewhat quiet, and my son yelled, "We're all gonna die!" I've heard that before. Poor kids. I've heard that from adults, too, to be fair. My 3-year-old son was softly singing while he was coloring. I stopped to listen, but I had never heard the song before. I asked where he had learned it, and he said, "The lady in my bedroom sang it to me." All right. Not creepy, but definitely sad. My best friend died, and I was trying to get back to my hometown for the funeral. I got overwhelmed with grief and laid my head down on my desk and started crying. My daughter came into the kitchen and asked me what was wrong. She was 8 at the time. I told her I was so sad because my friend died and I was missing her so much. And my kid said, "Don't be so sad, Mommy. She's standing right next to you." I get goosebumps just thinking about it. When I was about 4, my mom found me in the bathroom with all my Barbies, making them float face down in the bath. When she asked what I was doing, I replied, "The man in the wardrobe told me if I didn't do it, it would be my turn to swim face down." Oh. Okay, I don't like whatever is in your house and you need to get it out of there. My stepdad passed away and my nephew had to stay at my mom's for the night while they dealt with things. And they were struggling on how to tell him about his grandfather's passing. In the morning, they broke the news to him, but he already knew. Said Papa and his war buddies, he named them, were in there teaching him how to play poker because he was all alone. The kid will clear a poker table to this day. That is amazing. My 6-year-old came home from school one day, bursting through the door with tears streaming down her face. "I miss my other family," she said. "What other family?" I asked, thinking maybe she had been talking about her grandparents or other friends or relatives. "My alien robot family," she explained, continuing to explain that she lived with them in the sky before she came into my tummy. She chose to come down because she was angry with them and chose our family, but now she missed them and wanted to go back for a visit. Sometimes I wonder if it's kids' overactive imagination or if this is actual, legit things that are happening. A huge thunderstorm one night, and my son, who was about 4 at the time, put his hands on the sliding glass doors and says, "Oh God, don't take me. I'm too young to die." Looks back at my mom. "Take Grandma. She's old." Okay. Last year, my daughter kept crying and telling me I was going to die at 33 like my dad. I never told her or remembered telling anyone while she was around that my dad died when he was 33. Well, I'm 33 years old, and I have to say I've been living carefully this year, hoping to make it until next month when I turn 34. I don't blame you. The other week, I was reading my 2-year-old daughter a bedtime story. We finished. We were talking about being scared of ghosts, monsters, trolls, etc. And she turned to me and said, "Daddy, I'm not scared of ghosts." I asked, "Why is that?" To which she replied, "Because the one that comes into my room at night and strokes my hair is a nice one." Okay. When I was really little, I pointed to a tree outside my house and said to my family, "That tree is going to die." Nobody thought anything of it, but the next morning it randomly fell over and crushed my grandpa's car. Okay. My 6-year-old daughter in the passenger seat a few days ago looked at me and said, "Dad, when I'm 7, I'm going to kill you." No, wait, when I'm 8. I had to ask, so I said, "How are you going to do that?" She smiled and said, "I'm going to drive over your head with this car." Have you thought about getting your child checked? Just a thought, maybe. We were on our way home to Alabama from Texas, and my son was in the back seat and said, "Mommy, who's the man in the back seat with me?" It was just the two of us. No one else that I could see. I asked him to describe him, and he said, "He's just black with red eyes, and he's scaring me." So I pulled over, put his seat in the front with me, and he said the man looked like he wanted to eat me when I moved him. So there's that. Something is attached to you or your child, and you need to get it taken care of. Just saying. My son always says odd things. Usually they're funny, but this one threw me for a loop. He's 8, and I was telling him how much I loved him and thanks for being in my life. He said, "I didn't choose this life. I couldn't control how it began, but I can control how it ends." I feel like that child is going to move on to be a billionaire or something one day and just shock everybody out of the world. My niece drew a picture of a man in her room that she kept telling her parents about. He had 2 different colored eyes and one was gray. When asked why it was gray, she responded, "Because he can see the storm coming." Okay. My 6-year-old nephew told my brother that everyone on Earth was a figment of Jonah's imagination and that when Jonah wakes up, we'll all disappear. When asked who Jonah is, he replied, and this is verbatim, "He's the one who sleeps, the dreamer in the dream." Made my skin crawl the first time he ever told me that. So I shouldn't throw him into the fire? 3-year-old daughter holding her baby brother for the first time. That kid was not okay being a big sibling. My youngest, now 5, started talking super early, like full sentence talking. Everyone was shocked by how well he talked for his age. 3 older siblings. So at a 1.5 years, he'd tell me how he begged God to let me be his mommy. He would say things like, "I was an angel in heaven. I had another mommy, but I wanted you. I'm so glad God let you be my mommy." We weren't super religious at the time, and I just hadn't found a church, so it was really random to hear him talk about God, heaven, and angels, especially before my other kids actually learned about religion. Some kids just know, you know. I just took a pregnancy test that came up positive, confirming I was pregnant with my 4th baby. I was freaked out and a little surprised and had to keep a straight face because we had company at the time and my husband didn't even know I was taking it. I leave the bathroom, sit on the couch, and my oldest son, who was barely 5 at the time, holy damn, 3 kids under 5 years old, woman? Jesus. Comes over to me acting giddy and goofy, and as soon as everyone is out of the living room, says to me in a whisper voice, "Mom, I know." Me, having not said a single thing about it, didn't know what he was referring to. "Know what?" I say back with a smile, think he's just being goofy. "That there's a baby in your belly," he whispers with a huge grin and then runs off. I felt like I had seen a ghost. To this day, I have no clue how he could have known that when I myself had just found out minutes before. When I asked him later, he knew how he knew. He responded, "I just did." Kids and animals, I tell you, they know. They can sense it from a mile away. When my youngest daughter was about 2 or 3, we were just talking, and she said, "I died all by myself." I asked her what she was talking about. She said, "Not when you were my mommy, when I lived with my old mommy. She had brown skin and so did I. The spider bit me and I died all by myself." She is deathly afraid of spiders, and now she's almost 13. Oh. You know, there is a theory that what you're afraid of in your present life is what you were killed by in your past life at some point. So there's always that. There must have been a lot of people who fell to their deaths with how many people are afraid of heights, though. My 4-year-old son said, "Daddy, I want to drill into your tummy, crawl inside, and eat your dinner." The food was okay, but I didn't think it was worth that much effort. A little neighbor kid I used to babysit was quietly playing with his toys when, without looking up, he says to me, "You look so different now." I had to ask him what he meant. "You mean how different I look with makeup?" And he said, "No, a long time ago. A long time ago." He seemed frustrated, like he couldn't find the right words. He then looked up, studied my face, and said, "Well, not that different. You're still pretty." It was the strangest compliment I've ever received. I love kids sometimes. My daughter and I were reading on the couch one Sunday morning. It was raining outside. We were wrapped up in a warm blanket, and she had a cup of tea, and I had that perfect Americano. Life was good. My daughter looked up at me and said, "Dad, when you die, can I cut you open and look inside?" I choked a bit on my coffee. My wife simply turned around and did an about face and walked back upstairs. "Sure," I said. She looked up at me, smiling. Oh. When my son was 2, I told him to be careful when he was jumping around. He said, "It's okay, Mom. Grandpa George is watching me." My dad passed away when my son was 2 months old, and we hadn't really talked about him. Not a parent, but a former teacher. I taught English in a school in Spain, and I wasn't supposed to let the kids know that I speak Spanish, so that they are forced to communicate in English. A 10-year-old girl comes up to me one day, grabs me by the hand, and says with the most horrifying straight face ever, "Te vas a la muerte," or "You're going to die." I was so shocked at the randomness of it that my jaw must have dropped. She then laughed her head off and said, "Ha! You do speak Spanish!" and then skipped away laughing and smiling. It is definitely the creepiest thing I've ever had a kid say to me, and probably the most clever thing a little kid could ever do while I was a teacher. And the last and final one for this round, my daughter's friend's dad. That's a mouthful of connections. My daughter's friend's dad, Ian, came in for a cup of tea one day when he came to pick up his daughter. My girl, Izzy, was playing with a toy sword, and Ian said to her, "You know, Izzy, the pen is mightier than the sword." Izzy replied, "I know, yeah, you can stab someone in the neck with a pen." That is one girl who is going places, I guess. So that is another 25 creepy things that kids have said. Again, I would love to hear anything that you've had said to you, whether it's by your nieces, nephews, children of your own, or cousins, etc. Please leave that down below in the comments. If you like this video and you haven't already, please give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a video, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This week was a little screwed up just because I uploaded on Tuesday instead of Monday. Monday was a gong show. So I was a little behind schedule, but you'll still have 3 videos this week. I promise. That is it for me. I love you guys so very, very much. And please feel free to leave any and all comments or suggestions of what you want me to film in the future. I am open to doing anything or investigating anything. So please let me know down below. I love you guys also very much. I think I've already said that. I'm going to end this video before I start repeating myself.